Straight from Studio 919 in beautiful Colorado Springs, Colorado, where the Rocky Mountains are the most highest footstool, it's on these two.
And thank you for tuning in. This is Jeremiah Lawson.
And Ian Long, and you're listening to On These Two, a podcast where we discuss current events, topics of the day, issues of the Ekklessia, and how we walk that out scripturally as a living sacrifice to the Most High. Thank you for joining us. This is show number 13, brother.
13.
Absolutely.
Wow.
How you doing, man?
Doing great. Doing great. Man, a few words. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I am on coffee cup number 3.
Man, you might be out later.
Double shot espressos in each one. So much better than what it used to be.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about the sixer?
I think you did. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, a sixer is 6 shots of espresso in 1 latte serving. So
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Your heart will be jumping for joy.
Literally.
All right, brother. Hey, I'll tell you what. If you need something, there's some seltzer water over there.
Okay.
All right. So getting into it, Utah had an earthquake. Pretty good one.
5.7.
5.7 in an area that normally doesn't get shaken up all that often.
Yeah.
Ironically, our Mormon friends, their patriarch, the angel, what is it? Stramboni? What's the angel's name?
That's an Italian dish, I think.
Oh, okay.
Morani.
Okay. Took a fall. He lost his trumpet. Fell off, literally. Shook that thing off of their temple. Wow, man.
What was the joke you told me earlier?
Oh, yeah. Talk about a fallen angel. Absolutely. Come on now.
Oh, man. You know, we see in the scripture, man, where God tells the Israelites to destroy all the idols and this and this and that. And, you know, Paul talks about idols being just laughed at them, basically.
Right.
Pretty much. I mean, I don't know if they bow down to worship that statue, but still, God said not to make any images of anything in heaven above.
Well, why would they even listen to this entity who says, you know what, I've got some additional scriptures for you.
Yeah, that's the big difference.
Come on,
man.
now.
Every other religion has additional things.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's
crazy. It's crazy.
What's crazy is the fact that not only did Joseph Smith, right? Not only did he fall for this, he's convinced
Millions. And they're all in Utah.
watch it.
Not all. I'm sorry.
The Osmonds will come after you.
And they called it puppy love.
Yeah, we better be careful. We're not saying anything bad about the Mormons. They're really nice people.
Because those people, they'll throw that away, man. You start talking about the Mormon side of the faith, and whew.
Yeah, they get real. I don't know if they get offended, or they probably do get offended. But not saying anything bad about them. It's just their theology is definitely off. But one time I heard at work, this guy's dad was a Mormon, and they say they speak out and they go through telephone books and baptize people, and that works. And I was just shaking my head, like, really? If you want to learn more about that, though, there's a really good apologist that defends the faith from Mormonism. His name is Jeff Durbin.
Okay.
From Apologia Studios, the same guy who also says if you eat clean foods, you're a capital H heretic. But he has some good theology, though. I like him. Besides that part.
Well, there's no counting for taste with you sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, but he has really good stuff on why Mormonism is absolutely false. So.
Well, I'm trying to think right now. Didn't they just have a huge scandal about their funds?
I'm not sure. You know, with Mormonism, Jehovah's Witness, Catholicism, you know, all these different cults, there's always one, you know, the fact that they have extra biblical books. That's one thing. Another thing, they always have traditions of men that outweigh the scriptures, as opposed to traditions that can help you see the scriptures. It's crazy. Right. It's crazy, man. Mormonism, I think I read in a book somewhere that they have to wear some type of special underwear.
Oh, yeah.
They have to do like a special handshake that you can't go beyond the veil in the Mormon temple. Like there's like a hand that comes out, some undercover people, you know, like I said, very nice people, but also very deceived.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so what's funny is that they take the whole linen thing to a whole new level. Hey, and it was the Mormon church. There's a scandal of them stockpiling $100 billion that was intended for charities.
Wow.
And they misled.
You said billion?
Yeah.
Billion.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They're saying for a long time, they've been saying this money's going to charities, and it's not.
100 billion.
That's just ridiculous.
That's crazy, man.
Well, I wonder what kind of house is that. Never mind. Well,
Yeah, we won't get into that one.
and if you want to know the difference of what the characteristics of a pastor is, listen to our last podcast, because this would have fallen right in step with it, brother.
Right.
Wow. Wow.
So moving on from the Mormons.
Yeah, because we devoured that story.
You see that new plague of locusts set to descend upon the Middle East during Passover?
So, plague, brother,
Right?
over Passover. Come on now.
Didn't that happen some 4,000 years ago with Moses?
One of several, right?
And doesn't that happen? You know, they're saying that this plague of locusts is going to be the worst they've seen in 30 years, and it's going to have an effect on all the crops. I guess locusts can eat up to 35,000 pounds of their own body weight.
That's just ridiculous.
So if they're eating all these crops, famine?
Oh, yeah. Pestilences and famine and earthquakes, wars and rumors of wars. Wow. Where have I heard this before? I don't know. Heard it somewhere.
Yeah. Surprisingly,
Wow.
not many know that's in the Tanakh.
Right.
Quoted by Yeshua himself in Matthew 24.
Might be important. It's kind of been read.
It's going to be interesting, during Passover.
Come on, brother.
Yeah.
What does Passover commemorate? Exodus, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does it point to? First of all, Yeshua, salvation, but it alludes to his second Exodus.
Which
Perfect timing.
Brother Ian has to talk to me more about that one because I don't know if I'm convinced yet.
Whatever. It's there. In fact, just our last Shabbat, our community Shabbat, we had a teaching on it, and he alluded to it.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
Doesn't mean it's right. I'm just kidding. It could be right. I could be absolutely wrong. But still learning and growing. That's the beauty.
Absolutely.
Having an open mind, searching the scriptures, asking the Spirit, learning, And I wouldn't mind there being a second Exodus because granted, I don't want to be in the wilderness for 40 years. I would like to go straight to the promised land.
Right.
Hopefully we don't mess it up this time if there is one.
Yeah. So
hopefully this is our wilderness.
Well, what we need to remember, what did we learn from the first Exodus?
Don't complain.
There was a lot of people that got out while the getting was good.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's just say that there was definitely some sprinkles along the desert. They were dropping left and right. What's that old saying? Take what you get and don't throw a fit.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Never mind. Don't complain.
Yeah, basically, moral of the story. Thank God in all things.
Yes, absolutely. He's given us great discernment. Speaking of discernment, brother, we are talking today about today's topic is what, man?
Entertainment. Is it reprogramming the faith?
Ooh.
What kind of entertainment? Is that just like media, entertainment, movies, songs?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
It's always, yes. It's everything.
Man, brother, I'm going to tell you what. So preparing for this right here, I have a passion with this, okay? So growing up, a little testimony here, okay? So growing up, I came from a family that professed to be believers, but didn't walk it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we were maybe every other year would hit maybe Christmas or the Easter, service.
Christmas, Easter service.
Right. I mean, it was really sporadic even for that. And when my parents had split, I got involved in occultism and many other things, tried to find something to fill that dad void. And in that process, I got involved in music right out of high school. Unfortunately enough, generated enough attention. We were ready to sign what is known as a P&D deal, which is a press and distribution. You're responsible for all your gigging. However, you can get your advance and basically indebt yourself. So we didn't go that far, but I went to Madison, Butch Vig's studio, and did some, for those that are out there, Butch Vig, did Nirvana, and, he does a bunch of stuff, I guess, for some of the other secular ones out there, Foo Fighter and all that other stuff. So we went up to Smart Studios and we did a recording there. Got to meet some of the members from a band called Garbage, which it's not just a catchy name. So anyway, so we met these individuals, and so the process, so we recorded this. There was a process where they take, back then, we would record on reels, and those reels are then sent in. You take them into a mastering where they're mastered, and then that master is taken in, and it literally is placed on an altar. And
like an altar? Like, what do you mean? Just like a table? Like a satanic altar?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
And so the object is to basically call forward a spirit, to have its principality placed upon it. And then so every copy that's made after that contains that principality on that. So then it goes directly into people's homes and in their houses and businesses.
I get it. I get what you're saying.
I'm very thankful we did not go through beyond that point. So to me, this hits home because I see a lot of this. I mean, once you start to kind of see, it's kind of like seeing the FedEx, arrow. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
And so when you start looking at the media and you realize the media is really doing one of two things, it either props up and supports biblical values, or it is directly in opposition against it. I mean, it really is that clear.
Subtly.
Oh, yeah.
It might look like it's biblical, but it's still against the actual Bible.
I mean, so we're talking about numerous things in this process that's just horrible. So, films are a major source, we'll start there, right, of entertainment in our society. However, many films are more than just entertainment. They have also been created to intentionally communicate a message.
Yeah.
These messages tend to fall into two camps, as I was saying earlier. They either support biblical values or they undermine them. Depending on your worldview, they are a powerful source, and they do, in part, change within the culture.
Oh, absolutely.
And so when we know that and we start looking at this, we start wondering, wow, this is kind of crazy. And of course, the world tries to look at you and say, well, you guys are being superstitious. You're overthinking it. It's pretend.
Right.
But at the same token, we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Okay, so there's discernment that has to come into play here.
Yep.
What's your take on it, brother?
Yeah, absolutely. There's typically a hidden agenda behind most films these days. I don't know about back then. I mean, I've watched the old films. They seem to be more genuine, like 60s, 70s. I mean, even before that, that's what they seem to me, compared to today. I don't know if you guys ever read or heard David Wilkerson talk about his prophetic visions. He was a pastor in the New York Times Square Church, where Carter Cullinan is a pastor now. But he was the previous one. But anyways, he had a bunch of visions and things like that, talking about how TV, how entertainment, how media is going to get so out of hand. And it's going to cause the young people to just have this spiritual baggage, basically. I'm paraphrasing. But absolutely, and the influence on it. I mean, media is the most influential thing that you could do today, especially for kids where they're very easy to, quote unquote, manipulate, get into their minds and their heads.
Right.
It's very, very, very easy to do that.
What you're talking about in the occult, there's this process known as lesser magic. And so this is a concept of forcing someone's concentrated, purposed will into a situation, into a subject matter. Hence why, Super Bowl, why do they have these big, ornate, well, they're nothing more than big old spells. I mean, they're literally doing an actual ritual in front of you.
Yeah.
And having millions of people focus their energy, their will on it.
Right.
There's a reason why. And they understand that what we tend to see, we tend to emulate. I mean, we have grown men that walk around with Punisher shirts on. Deadpool. I'm tough because I got a Punisher shirt on, or Deadpool. And then they'll spend thousands of dollars decorating their vehicle. Priorities aren't out of whack here.
Comic-Con.
Oh my gosh.
50 years old, dressed up as a unicorn from some gaming or Marvel or some movie or whatever
Right.
it is. But, media too, entertainment, not only that, it's, say, a 15-year-old can go online and come up with their own conclusion of what science is based on reading a couple things.
Absolutely.
And then in that, they come up with, oh, this is true. So then they could deny God in all his glory. They could deny him because that's out there. Now they're a scientist.
Right.
Now they're a professional. Now they're But in reality, they're like, New Kids on the Block or something like that. They're not Einstein. They're not Tesla. They're not, they just read a few articles. And somehow now they deny God because they think what that says is true. That's the power of media as well. Not only willingly doing the satanic things, but it's all tied together.
Mm-hmm.
But it's meant out there to deceive a lot of people. It's how you're wise with it.
Mm-hmm.
The wisdom that God imparts to you. What are you doing with it for the entertainment media? And now this is not talking about filthy movies, because there's a lot of that. And subliminal messages in those movies, whether it be feminism, whether it be veganism. I mean, we're not saying you vegans out there are unbelievers. We're just saying like there is a spiritual connotation attached
absolutely.
to veganism. And then a lot of movies or documentaries or TV shows can portray that and flick their own biases on that towards you and make you think a certain way, which makes you think lesser of who God is.
Well, that's the whole intent.
That's the intent. It's to put God off his throne and put your own entertainment, whatever it is, on that throne.
There's this whole concept where you have what they're trying to do is they are literally one of two things. It's a polluted version on some of these low-budget Christian films that are out there.
Yeah.
Then there's the other, which I think is the primary. They either are dethroning God in general or they're making themselves out to be gods.
Right.
That's a big thing being pushed right now amongst Hollywood.
Right.
You are a god.
Mm.
You have just somehow not known it, but we're going to bring you into an understanding of it.
Stupid.
It's just ridiculous. So there is an organization out there, Little Light Studio. It is actually, I think that's their YouTube channel. It's Little Light Studio. They specialize in, they go in, whether it's comic books, whether it's movies. I would highly recommend if you get a chance. And I know there are some that will say, that maybe production value isn't what they're wanting, whatever. I'll tell you what, I think they're great. They're doing a great job. They tend to take a lot of the movies that are out there and they'll dissect it down to its elements and show you where they're actually making fun of the Most High. And really blasphemous stuff that you would be like, wow, I didn't realize I sat my child down to watch this while I'm cleaning up around the house to watch these cartoons.
Right.
So absolutely, they have some really good stuff in there. In fact, since we're talking about this, it's such a slippery slope that we don't understand what's happening with this. And so there is absolutely an intent to impart certain ways of thinking to you.
Yes.
And then for you to take that in and literally make it your truth, make it a truth amongst your community.
Right.
Now, the rating scale, that's only been around for, I don't know, probably, I want to say is probably around the early 70s is when the rating system came into play. And so I'm pulling my information here for you. This rating process, so give you an idea. So I'm quoting from, again, I would highly recommend go see Little Light Studio on this. They did a great job on it. So this idea of putting violence before our children. So the rating system came into play, I believe, in the early 70s. And so going back, let's go back to 1960, The Alamo. So it's a non-rated movie. And in this process, 1960, and this is a movie depicting a historical time, historical event, had 525 deaths in the movie. And that was non-rated, but this was because it was an actual event that took place. It was a war.
Historical.
Okay. So let's move forward from that. Let's go to 1989, the movie Glory, rated R. Rated R, and did not have any nudity, any of those things in it. Okay. So it was just a violent movie. 584 deaths, rated R. Okay. 1995, Braveheart, rated R. Again, historical events, right? Mm-hmm. Now that one, that had some love scenes in it, right? But if I remember correctly, it didn't show anything. That had 1,297 deaths in it. Mm. Okay, this is where it gets crazy, brother. 2002, Sum of All Fears. 2,922 deaths.
PG-13.
There you go.
Starting to decrease.
So there's this weird thing that starts to happen. They hold rated R's for things as sexual relations. Everything else is fair game. Here's the topper. And there are people that actually were letting their 12 and 13-year-olds go to this movie. Dracula Untold, 2014. PG-13, 5,687 deaths within the movie before your kids.
Not to mention all the demonic things.
Oh, absolutely. And come on now. So this whole thing is designed to desensitize them in the way that they respond and they act. And you're listening to On These Two, a CIAN Truth Ministries production. Hey, Faith Family, Ian and Jeremiah here from On These Two.
We want to thank all of our Patreons for supporting this show and joining us on this journey.
We truly love and appreciate you. You're making a difference for the kingdom. Thank you for your generosity. Now back to the show. And you're listening to On These Two with Jeremiah Lawson and Ian Long. So when we left off, we were talking about some of these films that are out there and the kill count, the violence that is being projected before your young children's eyes and even adults' eyes. As it's increased, they've decreased the actual rating on it. The sad thing is that this organization, they adjust their rating scale based off of what parents allow. So if you figure that, it's not that big of a deal to Jimmy.
Yeah.
Susie, she's fine. She doesn't mind seeing people's heads lopped off. It's fine.
Right.
Then they just keep lowering it. This is a reflection of our society.
Which makes other things okay, such as violent video games.
Okay, brother, so talking about this, okay, we know the scientific fact. It is a fact. It's not conjecture. There's no way around it. It is fact that people who impart and get involved with pornography, there is a rewiring of the mind that takes place. There's no psychologist that will tell you differently. There's no doctor that will tell you differently. They'll tell you this is. So we acknowledge that. But yeah, then we'll sit there and we'll say the very next thing. So do you think violent movies are rewiring your brain? Oh, no, not me.
Right.
I'm different.
Right.
I'm different. I know, other people might be influenced by that stuff. I'm different. Okay, so let's go with this, okay? Because video games, big thing, right? Everybody loves them. Fortnite. All these stupid ways to waste so much time and find such joy in killing your fellow brother.
Yeah.
Okay?
Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, all
Okay.
those things. How is it rewiring your faith if you delve into these things? How is it affecting your relationship with God?
Okay. Let's start here with probably one of the key things that we should use as our foundation. Scripture. Scripture tells us the Father's heart and what we should be, right?
Yep.
So Leviticus 19:2, speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel and say unto them, ye shall be holy, for I am the Lord your God, am holy.
Yep.
So we're to be like him.
Yep.
Okay. So there's the standard to that. So now let's go and let's look at this, okay? In the year 2000, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychology, American Psychological Association, the American Medical Association, the American Academy of Family Physicians, and the American Psychiatric Association issued a joint statement declaring that reports from the Surgeon General's office, the National Institute of Mental Health, and numerous studies conducted by leading figures within the medical and public health organizations point overwhelmingly to a causal connection between media violence and aggressive behavior in some children. The conclusion of the public health community, based on over 30 years of research, is that viewing entertainment violence can lead to increase in aggressive attitude, values, and behaviors, particularly in children. Video is a powerful media to engage with them. We live in a world where we need to see something in order to believe it. And in our fast-paced, information-driven world, video is the preferred means of communication and information dissemination. The thing is, video has the power to influence and even replace behavior in your mind without your being consciously aware of what you are seeing. So here's the interesting thing. There was a study done. And in the study, they had a gorilla in a caged environment, and they had the gorilla hooked up to sensors so that they could register what region within its brain was firing when it was doing certain things. To kind of dial in on this, they created a box. And in this box, they would put peanuts. And when the gorilla would reach through the window into the box, it would break a laser, a beep would happen, and they would compare that beep to what was happening in the brain. So they're able to get an exact image of when this is doing this, this is the region that fires. Mm-hmm. Okay, pretty simple. Sounds simple. After several weeks, one of the researchers comes in, makes his round, and, in most of these facilities, they'll tell you that, the researchers, they're nice to the animals as much as they can be. It's nothing personal.
Yeah.
He reaches in and he grabs a peanut out of this box because it's a box window kind of like on the side of this cage. The gorilla's watching. He reaches his hand in and it fires a sound. When he fires the sound, an image within the gorilla's brain lit up as if it actually physically did it. Mm. The brain knew no difference from seeing it done to when it actually did it. Mm. The same cortex fired.
Right.
Wow. And we wonder why people's morals seem to be lessening. They're okay with it. We have Christians that profess to be Christians and they would steal $1 million from someone.
Right.
Why?
Right.
Well, could it be because they're being influenced? They're being shown things and it's slowly lessening their ability to realize those things are wrong or even fight against them. So, that's just something that just blew my mind is when I heard that. So with understanding how this process actually affects an individual. Well, they go further by saying that during these studies, they found in the same concept as with the gorilla, they found that when these individuals were shown these scary movies, that the very spot in their brain that controlled the ability to make rational decisions and to exercise restraint, they became less likely to exercise restraint. It actually affected that region's ability to correct a wrong behavior. And we wonder why when we have kids and they'll be at school or in an event and you're going to deal with people that are jerks and they're in your face and they're yelling and all that. And they're like, I don't know why I just hit the person.
Yeah. Yep.
This is what we're seeing. So are we seeing a reprogramming of our morals? Absolutely.
Absolutely. And kids, especially towards parents, towards the elderly. Mm-hmm. It's crazy, man. The movies out there is all about, it seems like a lot of movies that kids watch, not kids, but like teenagers watch. They watch the rated R stuff too. Very condescending towards parents.
So
no respect, violent, all about so typically, you watch a movie, subconsciously you place yourself in the lead role.
Yes.
Like outside of, like after you watch the movie and you think you're that person. And like I said, not consciously. Like, oh, I'm this person, but it's like in your head. And, there's no doubt that that influences society today. All the rebellion against parents in movies. We see that today towards parents, breaking the fifth commandment.
Yep. And that's what I was going to say. So I know that some would say right now, they're like, Ian, Jeremiah, come on. Not everybody's going to watch movies where they're murdering people or playing violent video games. They're not murdering people. And you're right. There's probably less than 0.1% that's actually doing that.
Handful.
Okay. But what you're talking about is an increase of rebellion within the home.
Yep.
What does Scripture say rebellion is as?
Witchcraft.
Which the Lord is appalled with. Appalled with it. So we are literally watching these individuals who've watched, Cody and Zach, Sweet Life on Deck, all these other shows that literally portray the parent or the adult figure as an idiot.
Right.
And the children as the wise ones, and funny how they are always doping the dumb adults.
Right.
Yep. And we wonder why kids are growing up the same way.
Yep.
Come on. Come on. And that they're over-sexualizing these children from a young age.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Come on. We don't have to go into it. You can look at a multitude of cartoons that are out there, and there are absolute subliminal messaging being put in there that when you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
It's not just a bunch of flowers being knocked into the air and, it just happens to spell the word sex.
Right. Cartoons, reality shows, dressing little girls up as adults. And we see that today. There's like, a 12-year-old dressed, and you think she's 21 because she's dressed up and wearing makeup and all this kind of stuff. And, it's because the media, the TV shows that these things happen on. And now what are they doing? They're allowing a lot of homosexuality, transgenderism in their own reality shows.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to be the norm in 5 years. 10 years.
Well, absolutely.
It's all reprogramming the way people are trying to think. And that's why it's so powerful No one reads a book anymore. No one reads. They just go straight to watching and being entertained. Believers with watching horror movies. Like, how can you say you're a believer and go watch all the Saws?
Yes. Come on now.
It's crazy to me.
I'll probably close with that scripture because that's the most powerful, convicting scripture that will talk about this specifically. So when we're looking at this, okay, we are responsible for our children, not only just ourselves, but let's just look at it, first of all, from a child's perspective. Subjecting children, teens, to more gun violence and more of these things and changing the way that their perspective are and their role. You have adult producers referring to children actors as, so mature.
Yeah.
Such a capable young lady and all these things. And it's like, young lady, she's 11 years old.
Right.
You are literally putting that on her, trying to change the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. There's something coming with this. There's something coming with this. Anyway, so Mark 9:42, and whosoever shall offend one of these little ones that believe in me, it is better for him that a millstone were hung about his neck and he were cast into the sea. So we're talking in Mark 9:42. Yeshua was talking about literally a young one of the faith. We could also apply this to a young child.
Yeah, because they're not excluded from believing on Jesus.
No.
They're not. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, they could absolutely be a new believer and show fruit and be led astray.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's look at that word offend. In the Strong's, it's G4623.
Scandalizo.
You already know it, don't you?
I memorized it.
Okay. So when we look at what that word means, yeah, it does say put a stumbling block or an implement in the way upon which another may trip or fall. It's metaphorically speaking to entice to sin. To cause a person to begin to distrust, desert one from where they're supposed to be going, cause one to fall away. So we're seeing that this whole aspect is a bringing a person to something that leads them into implementing it, to doing it.
Right.
So when we set our child down in front of the TV and turn it on and we start vacuuming, or I go into the office or something like that, what is happening? I am involved in putting that before my child.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. When we look at this and when they're using functional magnetic resonancy imaging, fMRI, when they can actually show where the brain's firing when they do this, and they have these studies, which is kind of disturbing that they bring these kids in and subject them through this process. Like I said, they have absolutely shown that when they show them aggressive movies, violent movies, all these things, the very region, the right lateral orbital frontal cortex, this area is specifically targeted because that area has the controlling factor of how you mitigate a situation, whether you act it out or you exercise restraint. This has a direct correlation to lessening your ability in that area. Wow. By chance?
Nope.
Chance. I don't think so.
Nope.
I think it's absolutely designed that way. I think the whole intent is to try to change society to prepare it for the next phase.
And that would make, up to when entertainment and media was available digitally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had a pretty, I'm not saying, because we all know everyone's a sinner, but I'm not saying, granted, like in the 40s and 50s, people were ashamed, even if they were an unbeliever, to be a homosexual or to be
an adulteress.
Like ashamed.
A drunkard.
Like they didn't want to be seen.
Right.
Now there's TV shows flaunting all of these things, or movies flaunting all of these things. So we see a difference on how it's affected our society since the coming of it.
Right. I mean, that's what we're seeing.
We're seeing the fruit of that today, especially today.
Right. When we look at this, we can see some things coming down the road. I mean, we're talking about they are going to fundamentally change concepts of words, changing your perception of what they are. And it's not just for that purpose. I mean,
right.
Well,
greater purposes.
You become what you see. And you're listening to On These Two with Jeremiah Lawson and Ian Long.
Ever feel like this world has lost its mind? Does it seem like chaos is running rampant? It's no longer good versus evil. It's become the lesser of which evil. Well, that stops today Hello, I'm Celeste Long, creator of Biblical Botanicals. I came up with Biblical Botanicals because I wanted to get back to the basics, to simpler times when soap was actually soap and not some mass-produced chemical detergent meant to mislead people. We have come such a long way from the Garden of Eden, but we are still being manipulated by extravagant words, deceptive practices, and enticing appearances. Don't be fooled. Not all soaps are created equal. Biblical Botanicals are natural, homemade, handcrafted soaps with masculine colors and fragrances meant for the biblically minded man. Don't get lost in chaos. Remember, you are a son of the Most High. Shouldn't you be using the best?
And you're listening to On These Two, a CIAN Truth Ministries production. Hey, when we left, we were talking about some things coming down the pipeline and how they are going to start changing the terminologies and the way we perceive things even further. And I alluded to that there are literally actors and actresses that are actually invoking spirits into themselves that have greater impact on your life.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Bet you can probably think of one right off the top of your head.
I don't want to say it.
So we talked about the movie Glory. Denzel Washington literally said that he channeled his character. He believed it was a spirit of a slave from that time.
Basically what I did was got on my knees and sort of communicated with the spirits. When I came out, I was in charge.
Powerful scene.
Powerful scene. I couldn't have acted that. I couldn't have written that down and made a decision to play that.
I didn't know he said that.
Come on, people.
And if you guys think this is crazy, there's been demonic worship since the start of the world, right? There's always been occultism. There's always been evil, unrighteous, demonic things that seem to be good because it's what they're doing, right? There's actually an origin and a history behind what's going on. So I don't know. For me, I don't know purposefully if they're doing that or if they've given into to pressure and do different things like that. But there are plenty who are closet Satan worshipers or closet pagan, demonic, different things. And I mean, who do you think they're, if you give your life to this world, you know, who are you serving?
Right.
As opposed to the Most High.
Yeah. So that scene in Glory, specifically, Denzel is on record describing his preparation for this day when he has to do this scene where he's literally whipped for being disrespectful. He says he's backstage and he's thinking, how do I get into character? And he says he actually channels the spirit of slaves.
Like I said, I don't know if he did it intentionally, but if it's
sounds pretty intentional to me. You mean okay?
Because
so
some people can say that stuff jokingly. That's what I'm trying to say, and not even know what the heck they're getting themselves into. You know, some people can do that. Granted, like I said, I don't know. I really don't. But like I said, there are people who do that stuff intentionally, right? But obviously it worked. So
I mean,
saying something like that innocently, but the result of it happening, it can go either way. Or you can say that intentionally and the result of happening. So that's what I think. But obviously something was channeled because it worked.
Right. So the point is that, and this is not an uncommon thing.
Nope.
So you have these individuals that let's give them a benefit of the doubt. Let's say like you're saying, they're just doing it for shock value, getting people, it's sensationalism. It's something to write into a story. Okay. And so here's the thing. So you get a young person, here's a story, and says, man, I seen that movie. That is a powerful scene. So channeling spirits is the way to go.
Right.
Okay. Geez, that's not offending a little one, is it? Okay. How about Marvel Comics and DC Comics? Both of them have renowned artists that literally say they create sigils and they do spells to come up with better roles for their characters. And then they write them into the comics. People, listen.
Stuff is real.
Well, it doesn't matter what you think. They think it, and they're trying to influence your children.
Yep.
So, okay, that's on the spiritual aspect, right? The stuff that you can see that's just blatantly, satanic. Let's go with the more modern stuff. Did you check out the latest one from Marvel? Superheroes?
Snowflake and
Safe Space.
say,
Come on. Are you serious?
oh man, I said that fits my generation perfectly.
We cannot make this stuff up. I mean, give me a break. The fact that they are literally creating what they want to call superheroes, and I mean, that's a whole other thing we can get into about whether or not these are quote-unquote superheroes. Superheroes, in my opinion, I think the evidence speaks very clearly with it. These are being designed as a mockery of God with the intention of promoting we can do it ourselves. I just see it all over the place.
Yeah, it's always about independence.
Yes.
Like I was saying earlier, putting yourself in that main role subconsciously, not even knowing, and being independent of all that. So
What these two characters are trying to promote, you can't tell me that there's not an agenda behind this, because it is ridiculous. It is absolutely, positively ridiculous.
right, you got like Captain America, and then you got Snowflake.
It's just, I mean, okay. So their agenda is this. They want to legitimize this concept
Yep.
that people are born with wrong bodies. I mean, just complete screwed up. They should have been a guy and they ended up being a girl, or they weren't either. Their spirit is non-gender, but their physical body is a gender. So therefore, I mean, it's just screwed up. This is all a subliminal attack on God's
Right.
sovereign hand. So looking at the image, if you look at, I just can't, I just really, Snowflake. Okay, so let's go with Snowflake. Baby blue in color, okay? Blue is usually associated with a certain gender, but let's just go with this.
Right.
Baby blue, and Snowflake identifies as being non-gendered and uses pronouns such as they and them. I can look at this picture and clearly tell you that is a female.
Mm-hmm.
There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, she, just said it, has a very short haircut. However, can clearly tell it's a female.
Yep.
Wearing blue. Notice this, people. Now, safe space. So safe space, clearly broad shoulders, athletic build, clearly a male figure. What color is he wearing? Hot pink. So he's wearing hot pink, she's wearing blue.
Yeah.
There's a inversion of what we've known in society for
Right.
how long?
Right. That's why in gender reveals you do blue or pink
Right.
for male or female.
Well, we are seeing this whole process being pushed, and they're trying to screw your child up so bad.
Yep.
And so when they sit there and they say, you guys are abusing these children because you're teaching them they have to conform to these things, I say, no, you're the one that's abusing children.
Right.
Because you are confusing the facts.
Right. That's child abuse, man.
Absolutely it is.
Straight up.
Absolutely. I don't care what anybody wants to say about it. So we've addressed, there are those that are actually saying they conjure spirits, channel spirits through them. We have producers of either comic books, movies that literally are doing spells to impart in it. You have those that actually write roles. I mean, the new Spider-Man that's coming out, the main actor says, why can't we have Mary Jane be a dude?
What? And aren't they doing like,
Come on.
they're making people gay, like main characters
Yes.
gay now? Like it's slowly creeping in, like
Now listen,
to appeal to 1% population.
Now, listen, we are in no way targeting and just saying that the homosexuality aspect is the issue, or the transgender or bigender or whatever you want to say in this. We're not saying that's not just the only issue, and that's worse than others, but it's what's in the forefront right now. If they were promoting, I mean, they do put out movies that are promoting adulterous relationships and debauchery and pedophilia and alcoholism and all these other things, right? But the topic at this moment on this right here is this issue.
Yeah.
Further confusing this issue.
Right.
And then so we're seeing that there is a reprogramming that's happening. We know that media does have that effect. Okay, because it starts, I mean, think about when you watch a horror movie, they specifically can tell that, dopamine gets released in the body tenses up and all these things. And so what happens is that when a person comes out of a horror movie where they've been stimulated so much, they come out and they're slower in their cognitive abilities. Mm-hmm. Why? Because you've been overstimulated in these aspects. So when they play violent games, they know that it literally lessens their ability to exercise restraint.
Right.
When people, we see so much of this, that this stuff does reprogram the physical aspect of it. We've talked about that, the spiritual side of it. So Yeshua right off the bat says, if you do this, it's better for you to put a millstone around your neck if you stumble them. So our job here today is to get you to realize you should be mindful of this and exercise more restraint, more discernment.
Yeah.
So in Matthew 6:22-23, right, it says, the eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? So we're seeing he's literally telling you right here, what you perceive becomes who you are. No, that's not possible. We don't see that happen. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, we do. We see ladies, grown adult ladies, walking around with Wonder Woman shirts on, stickers on their car.
Right.
We see grown men thinking that they're Punisher or Deadpool. They start to emulate it. So if they're emulating it on that level, what would they do if they could?
Right. And then there's people in seminaries, talking theology, talking biblical things, Reformation, talking about the original faith. But then, hey, did you go see that Deadpool movie?
Horrible, right?
And then you have some pastors who's teaching you every week. Yeah, we watched the Deadpool movie.
So, little story here. Before my stint in the military, okay, I say it like I was only in for a week. Prior to joining the military, I worked for a church, and I did maintenance work for them. And in the process, I was involved with their youth ministry. I was going to pursue going to seminary school. But in this process, the youth pastor, he used to talk up the Matrix movies. He's like, man, I love them. They are so great. They're so awesome. I'm like, it's nothing but a kill fest.
Yeah.
Nothing but it. Yeah, but the graphics, the special effects are awesome. Praise God. And then I would sit there and I would look over at the parents because, Wednesday night would be the youth night, right?
Yeah.
Afterwards, it's funny. It's like youth night always requires, you have some praise and worship, 15, 20 minutes, 5-minute little speech. And then we're going to have some pizza.
Yeah.
We're going to have some pizza and just fellowship.
Yeah.
Just fellowship. Just have community. And he would talk to these individuals like this, and with the parents that would come with the kids, and the parents would be like shaking their head too. Yeah, it's great. This does not seem odd to you.
Yeah.
And then, of course, then they ask, Ian, why don't you bring your kids with you? They wanted to stay home. But I was such a hypocrite too, because I'm going there and I'm not saying anything. Come on now.
It ends up turning into just a social club. Are the kids going there for God, or are they just going to meet up with their friends and have pizza and talk about all the ungodly things in the world and bask in them? And people want to give a pass, but then we see later on that it's like, okay, did you train your child in the way they should go? And now you see they're into all these things and they've neglected or they've forsaken God. I don't know, man. It's that kind of stuff just bothers me.
Well, absolutely. So when we look at that, let's get a few more scriptures in here just to help drive this home, okay? So Psalms 119:37. Turn my eyes from looking at worthless things and give my life your ways. Geez, is that what we should do? I would say so.
Right.
Without a doubt. But I can walk you from Job to Galatians, Proverbs, 1 Peter, Philippians, 1 Corinthians, 1 Timothy, Matthew, Proverbs again. I can bounce you back and forth through all these. And if you can't get this, then you're really, really, really missing it.
Here's the thing, too. Satan comes as an angel of light.
Absolutely.
So he makes all these things appealing to your flesh.
Yes.
And if you can't discern, if you can't see what's going on behind the scenes, now am I saying you have to live your life in total worry constantly about this thing? No,
isolation
then,
and that?
Yeah, then you'll be unfruitful for the kingdom of God.
Well, absolutely.
But just be aware that Satan comes as an angel of light. Like he comes to you saying that, there's nothing wrong with this. These things are okay. You believe in God. You can go watch these things. He's trying to deceive you when clearly that psalm you just read said, take my mind and my eyes off worthless things.
Yes. I want your ways.
Yes.
I want your ways.
Right.
So let's drive this home real quick, and then we'll take a quick station identification break. So in closing, Romans 1:28-32. Brother, I'm going to have you read this because I'm going to tell you right now, if this does not pierce your very soul and get you to understand the great responsibility that's set on us, there's something wrong. So brothers, sisters, hearing this, listen closely and understand what's being said here.
And just as they did not see fit to acknowledge God any longer, God gave them over to a depraved mind to do those things which are not proper, being filled with all unrighteousness, wickedness, greed, evil, full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, malice. They are gossips, slanderers, haters of God, insolent, arrogant, boastful, inventors of evil, disobedient to parents, without understanding, untrustworthy, unloving, unmerciful. And although they knew the ordinance of God, that those who practice such things are worthy of death, they not only do the same, but also give hearty approval to those who practice them.
So if you didn't catch that last part, read that last part, brother. That very last part. Not just the ones that do it, but who else?
Hearty approval to those who practice them.
I wouldn't do it. I just like watching it.
Yeah. Yep.
You literally just lumped yourself right there. It's not just the ones that are doing this. Everything that was just named there is in every movie you have out there now.
Yep.
Most of the music you listen to is some form of this.
Right.
Every game that's out there right now has some form of this.
Right.
And you're sitting there saying, but I wouldn't do that. I just like playing it.
Right.
Really? Okay.
Use a little discernment. We're not saying all movies are,
No.
majority of them.
Right.
Not all. It's not like you can't watch a movie with your kids or this and this and that, but just have some discernment and even what you place before your eyes.
Yes.
Just have discernment. I remember one Marvel movie I watched a few years ago. The dude came down. He was like, "I am that I am," or something like that.
Yep.
Comparing himself to the living God.
Well, of course, others say, oh, come on. It's just a coincidence.
No.
No, it's not.
Why would they choose, out of all the religions out there, they choose that one?
Yeah.
Really? So just use some discernment and, know that these things are real.
Absolutely. And don't let the world tell you you're crazy because you're trying to protect your family, you're trying to protect your community, and you're protecting yourself.
Yeah.
That being said, we will take a quick station identification break. And when we get back, it is it kosher? You're listening to On These Two. CIAN Truth Ministries is a ministry focused on ministering both physically and spiritually to the orphans and widows, single mothers and unborn, and the homeless.
We believe it is our calling and joy to help and encourage those to come to a true repentance leading to salvation in Yeshua as we minister to their physical needs.
CIAN Truth Ministries is active in fulfilling the Great Commission as set forth by Yeshua.
CIAN Truth Ministries is boldly proclaiming the truth of the Gospel of Yeshua, feeding the homeless, and striving to see change in our community that glorifies our King.
If you would like to find out how you can be part of this amazing ministry that's making change, or just seeking more information about us, visit us at ciantruthministries.org.
That's CIANTruthministries.org.
CIAN Truth Ministries, striving for kingdom change. And you're listening to On These Two with Jeremiah Lawson and Ian Long. I got to lumpia. That's right. So today on Is It Kosher? This is our segment where we showcase biblically clean food, not necessarily the word kosher. Kosher, it's not scriptural.
Nope.
You will not find kosher anywhere in Scripture. Now, you will see multiple scriptures that will outline what biblically clean food is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're promoting here. We're not promoting anything with a little fancy little symbol or any of that other stuff. Biblically clean food.
Play on words.
Yes, just a play on words. Because is it good?
Basically.
Now, I've had these before. This is one of those times where I'm glad I get to have them all myself.
Deep fried goodness.
Oh, so absolutely. So my brother has absolutely seen, when it comes to food at our house, we absolutely enjoy comfort foods.
Oh, I like comfort foods too.
Yeah, just ours seem to be fried.
And every time.
Never mind the fact that I do a lot of running and I'm very busy.
Run,
I mean,
what kind of running? Not your mouth.
No, well, I do that a lot. I do that a lot. Absolutely.
I just had to get that in there. I'm sorry, man.
Well, no, that's okay. It's all good.
After that move on last week.
Yeah. Well, you said, hey, man, I was dragging at the end there.
You were. I could tell that as the day went by, you slowly stopped talking as much, and I was wondering, man, how would Ian be in the world if he's this obnoxious? Right? No, I'm just kidding.
That's really what it was. When you get to a point when you're tired, you do those things. How do I keep myself motivated and keep going?
Yeah, because you didn't sleep all night, right?
Oh no,
you got no sleep, and then he helped move furniture all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it literally because it was Tuesday that we moved.
Yeah.
So it was Monday morning. I woke up at 5, was up all night, and then was over there at 11 because we were supposed to be in there at 10:30. We're late.
Yeah.
At 11, and then we left like at 7.
Pretty late, close to that time.
And then I came back here. I did some editing, uploaded some stuff, and I think it was like 10 o'clock when I finally knocked out in the bedroom. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's a long time to be up, man.
That's
Kudos
right.
to you.
Well, that was a week of, like I said, is a new fad, sleep fasting.
Sleep fasting.
All right, so now back to this. So, is it kosher?
I'm gonna say yes.
So, sweet chili sauce with this.
What is this dish?
Oh, a lumpia?
Yeah.
Lumpia is basically, it's kind of like an egg roll. It's a Filipino dish, and they tend to put, pork or chicken, or you can make them with beef. So my wife uses a mixture of, I think it's turkey, chicken. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
It's not foul.
Man, you are just...
All right.
You're good
Is it kosher? Here it is, everyone. For those ASMR individuals. They're like right now drooling, going, come on, I want to hear it. Come on. It better crunch.
All right.
So just for you.
Ooh, wow. That was a good one. Ian's over here dancing right now.
Oh, my gosh.
He's still chewing.
She made the spicy ones.
Oh, nice.
So, I didn't take a small bite, man. Wow.
Good.
That
Kosher?
was yes.
Yes.
So, kind of weird. We've done 13. Is it kosher? We've not found one.
I was just gonna say that.
Well, out of all fairness, I think the wings, they were more of a mild, because me and you both like spicy food.
Mm-hmm.
They were more of a like really, really mild.
Yeah.
And so she had mentioned, she goes, well, I will put in there that, for the certain spices, you change it accordingly, which she does anyway. So what we're talking about is that if you get over to the website at CIANTruthMinistries.org, underneath the nutritional tab, you will find a weekly bread, and directly underneath that is a segment, Is It Kosher?, where we will showcase the food that we had on the podcast that week and the recipe. If you're wise, get it while you can, because it's only there for a week. And wow, yeah, they're good. Wow, man, that hit me in the back of the throat. That is absolutely hot.
Looks good.
But I'm telling you right now, don't let it fool you. Just because I'm not like 400 pounds doesn't mean that it's not good. It's like back in the day, right? If you go to the baker, at the baker's, like a toothpick, you're like, it's not good.
Right.
He's not good at anything he does.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with that.
Gotcha.
Wow. Delicious. So it is with that being said, I want to thank you so much for joining us. We will be back next week, Yah willing. Hey, if you like the content, give it a like. If you like the subject, become a subscriber. Click the bell and be notified. And as always, know we love you. Yah willing, we'll see you again. Shalom.
Shalom.